wanted to make a change in your life, but you weren't sure where or how to start?
Well, it turns out the first few steps that you take could be critical in determining your success. Ariane de Bonvoisin is author of the book, The First 30 Days, Your Guide to Any Change.
She's here to share some very helpful advice. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
What kind of change are we talking about, Ariane?
You know, we're talking about any change that maybe you've ever wanted to make. Maybe you want to change careers. Maybe you want to lose some weight. But we're also talking about changes that life throws at us. Maybe it's a health diagnosis or a divorce or something that wasn't quite expected. So it's really the gamut of change and changes that could come up in our life.
And we know that that's the only thing that's constant in this world is change. Why 30 days?
You know, the first 30 days is really about getting people started in the right way, with the right tips, the right information, making sure to avoid the mistakes, making sure they're not alone, that other people are there to help them. But it's really a metaphor to get started in the right way, but most importantly to stay started past those first 30 days.
Got it.
Well, for example, you mentioned diet, which is a common thing. People want to lose some weight. What are the first things that people should be doing in those first days?
You know, the most important thing really is to find the reason why you want to lose weight, because that's the thing that's going to keep you going. It's not, it could be nice, or that would be nice, or it should be nice. When it's a real must, that's when people typically lose weight. So it's really an attitude of mind of sort of keeping going.
You talk about being a change optimist.
I do. So a change optimist, one of the things we did for the book is we interviewed a few hundred people going through all different types of changes, the positive ones, the negative ones, and we looked for what were the things that made people good at change, because there's ways of getting better at change. And the very first principle all across the board was people who are good at change are optimists. They believe something good will come.
That's nice.
They believe in the change guarantee, which is from any change, look for the positive. That is the sort of guiding force through change.
One of the chapters in your book talks about change demons. What are those, and what?
So change demons are the emotions that sort of get in the way of a change. So it's all those negative emotions that certainly do show up. So things like fear, things like blame, things like shame, things like impatience. We want to speed through the change because it feels uncomfortable. And so those feelings are very normal. They're very human. It's not about getting rid of them. It's about not resisting them. It's actually allowing them to show up, but replacing them with a more positive emotion. So with fear, fear only exists in the future. It's not something that's present. So can you put fear in the passenger seat and keep driving the car? People who are good at change know that fear is going to show up, and they act anyway.
So apply that positive change then to somebody that's been thrown a curveball like divorce or a death in the family. How can you positively spin that in your head?
So this is what I would say. You have what I call a change muscle. You have something that makes you much better at change than you've probably ever considered. You've gone through dozens of changes before, whether you've graduated, maybe you've quit smoking, maybe you've already lost a loved one. So there's a part of you that's much better at change than you've ever given yourself credit for. And so get inside and find that change muscle. Find that part of you that knows how to get through that change.
Right, and stop blaming.
Stop blaming. A lot of people, when they go through change, they blame something or someone. They blame their boss, they blame their lover, they blame God, they blame the world. And the reality is blame never achieves anything. It really doesn't. It doesn't create anything. And if in some ways it resists you actually getting through the change. So the quicker you let go of the blame, take a bit of responsibility yourself, and actually take some action, you'll get through the change much quicker.
And once you do successfully change part of your life, are you going to be capable of successfully changing other areas of life? And does it actually make it easier?
It does. There's a stacking effect to it. So if you've gone through some changes before, you actually get better at change. So even if it's a brand new change that's just happened or one that you want to initiate, you're not using brand new resources. You're still the same person. You still have your faith. You still have your people around you, your support team. You still have your values. So you do actually get better at change the more changes you get through.
In fact, we talked to you before the show, and I asked you where you're from, and you said, how much time do you have? Because you've lived all over the world. You had a lot of change when you were a child.
Yes, very much part of my DNA. I was born in New York City. I have French and Belgian parents. I grew up in 6 countries around the world. I've had 10 jobs. And I really found, you know, change becomes sort of the #1 life skill that I think we need to get good at. It's the thing in life that we know is coming. We all fear change.
But you talk about accepting it and how important that is. And you've also brought to share with the audience several tips on dealing with change, including learning how to cancel those negative thoughts about it, reaching your snap point, finding your center. Don't forget that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Take some action and just be bigger than change.
Be bigger than your change. Know that other people are looking. You're either going to be an inspiration for someone, how you get through that divorce or how you get through that job loss, or you can choose to be an example of how to do it and how to be that for someone else.
And a snap point, is that when you're fed up with something
That's it.
the way it is in your life and you're not going to take it anymore?
That's it. It's like a rubber band. It's snapped. You can't go back. It's that point where you go, enough, no more. That's it.
Well, the interesting thing, or the theme, is that change is really proactive. Like, don't just be a victim of life as things kind of tumble your way.
Very much so. So you have the opportunity to really take control, take some action. It's not all just going to happen to you. And it really starts with knowing that change can absolutely be a good thing.
And should you make a list? Well, you know, you may be talking about changing big things, but you can achieve big things through taking smaller steps. Should you make a list of smaller goals on your way to the big change?
And that's really why, you know, I called this book and the website The First 30 Days, because it's really about pacing yourself. It's about being present today, what's going on, not what might happen in the future, what could happen, but really taking it a day at a time, an action at a time.
And this will get us through 31 days, 32 and on.
It sets you up with a foundation for how to view change and how to view life, more so than it is sort of like an action plan.
Well, wonderful.
Well, our audience is going to get to read firsthand for themselves, because you brought a copy of The First 30 Days for everyone in the audience today. Ariane de Bonvoisin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And of course, you can head to our website for more information. NBC10.com/10. We'll link you to Ariane's website.
Be right back with more of the Tech Show.
Thank you.
I'm Tim Furlong at the Devon Horse Show, and check this out. This is the Allen Iverson of horses. Check out the cool cornrows. We come back, we're going to show you how and why they braid horses. This is Versailles. Say hello, Versailles. The 10 show is coming right back, so stick around.